From downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now, Special Edition.
Thanks for staying with us this evening. I'm Jordan Smith. We've had picture-perfect weather this weekend, and more warm weather is on the way. Meteorologist Matt Gray tracking it all tonight. Matt, what can we expect as we wrap up the weekend?
Well, I tell you what, more 70s and even some 80s. That's what we got up into today. Our average high as we enter the month of October generally should be in the upper 60s. We went way beyond that today as we've had a pretty quick warm up over the past few days since the rain stopped. And now we are getting set for the second half of our weekend, which is going to be, I dare I say it, even more beautiful than the first. Some light cloud cover over the region right now, but otherwise all quiet on our live radar. Temperatures have fallen into the 60s. We're down to 60 in Deer Park, down to the 50s in Spirit Lake this evening. Downtown Spokane sitting at 63 and a little bit warmer at the airport with a little bit of a breeze. 66 at Spokane International and 62 in downtown Coeur d'Alene. Now this is about 4 to about 8 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday, so it just goes to show you how quickly we have warmed up here over the past few days. We went from something that felt very much like fall on Thursday to now feeling a little bit more like early September, kind of late summer, and our temperatures overnight reflect that as well. There'll be a little bit of a chill in the air, but these temperatures, you're not going to see these for more than about 45, 50 minutes or so, because we're going to warm up really quickly after that. I'll show you how warm we get and how long these conditions are going to stick around coming up.
Breaking news tonight out of Indonesia. Tonight we're learning that at least 127 people are reported to have died after a soccer match turned violent in Milan, Indonesia, according to East Java Police Chief Inspector Afanita. Afanita says supporters of the Arema FC team went onto the field after losing their match earlier today. Videos posted to social media showing fans storming the field and clashing with police who appear to be wearing riot gear. Later in the video, smoke can be seen alongside people being carried into a building. The condition of those people shown in the video is unclear. And it's been a bit more difficult to navigate Monroe Street between Summit and Boone in Spokane. The city is working to repair the pavement, and the entire project is estimated to take about 2 months. Bronte Sorosky checked out the construction in a month in and has how local businesses are managing.
Construction on Monroe has been going on a couple months now. The city says it should be done by early November as local businesses continue to feel the impact.
We've had several days where nobody comes in because it's just so hard to access. We're fairly new, so our visibility on Monroe is really essential to our, people knowing where we are.
Ashley Reese runs the Center for Children's Book Arts on Monroe. They've only been open at that location since May, so the incoming construction has made adjusting to their new home a challenge.
Specifically as a new business, when lots of people don't know that we are there, and our signage is right there, and that's how people kind of notice us. And so, yeah, it's been slow as a result.
The city says local business owners can start feeling some relief in about a month.
This project is about a 2-month project, and so we're about halfway through.
This construction means you might have to find alternate routes to get to some places.
So we do have the Milan and Broadway east of Monroe are closed during this project, but all of the west side intersections are available.
The city says it is working with businesses on keeping them up to date as to when closures will begin and for how long so that they can prepare. Davis encourages everyone to make the extra effort to visit those businesses being impacted by this construction. Reporting in Spokane, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
And we turn now to those protests that are taking place across the country following the death of Mahsa Amini, the 22-year-old woman that was arrested in Tehran last month after allegedly wearing her hijab incorrectly. She later died in police custody. Police are saying she died of a heart attack. Her family suspects the police are responsible, sparking protests around the world. On Saturday morning, protesters gathered in Riverfront Park to speak out against her death, hoping to bring awareness to the situation. People traveling as far as Pullman and the Tri-Cities to attend. Some people we spoke with say they came out because they're Iranian. They say that they fled the country because of fear of a similar situation like the one of Amini.
For women's freedom, because we ran away because they had to put a scarf and keep us at home. That's why I'm here, and now they are still doing that and killing people. The girl was very young, 22 years, and she was killed in Iran.
Protesters said they wanted to get this information out to people in Spokane because they didn't think enough people knew about it. They wanted to help people grasp what is happening to women in other parts of the world. And protests in honor of Mahsa Amini are happening around the world as well. In London, videos were shared on social media showing people protesting in solidarity with those in Iran. People are calling for a change in Iranian leadership following the violence in the country. An American citizen held in Iran for more than 6 years has been released to seek medical treatment. That's according to the United Nations. 85-year-old Bakir Namazi was released from detention along with his son, Samak. The father had been facing health problems which worsened over the course of his several years of confinement. An attorney for the family said Saturday that Bakir Namazi's travel ban has been lifted so that he can seek medical treatment outside of Iran. Meanwhile, his son Samak has been allowed to return to his parents' home in Tehran. Progress on the U.S. efforts to free the Namazis, as well as 2 other wrongfully detained Americans, has been frustratingly slow. Yesterday, an attack on an educational center in Afghanistan killed 19 people and wounded 27 others. Afghan Hazara women and civil rights activists held a demonstration earlier today speaking out against the recent attacks in the country. Protesters were heard chanting, "Stop Hazara genocide" and "We want justice." A suicide attacker later detonated his explosives during a practice exam in the girls' section of a packed room at the Kaj Education Institute in Kabul. The tutoring center in West Kabul is home to the minority Hazara community. Hazara are an ethnic, mostly Shiite Muslim minority. The Taliban has condemned the attackers and says they will bring the people behind the attack to justice. Well, coming up on this special edition of 4 News Now, efforts to recover from Hurricane Ian already underway on the East Coast. What cleanup looks like after such a devastating storm. Plus, after a White House program was dissolved under former President Donald Trump, President Biden is bringing it back. What that program entails, coming up.
And we are expecting a slow warming trend that is going to start to level out a little bit in the coming days. It's not weather, I think, that anybody's going to be complaining about, though. We're talking about a long stretch of beautiful conditions. Certainly was beautiful if you, well, if you were interested in heading out to the Chiefs game. I know a lot of people were, as we take a look at the parking lot there across from our studios in downtown Spokane. Your forecast coming up shortly.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by Providence Help.
At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
We actually have a new service that we're providing with video banking. We're here to really help them and connect on a way that other institutions really can't.
The Book of Mormon is the best musical of this century. The 9-time Tony Award winner is genius, brilliant, phenomenal. The Book of Mormon is the funniest musical of all time. It's the gold standard for comedy that goes further than any other comedy in history. You won't believe how funny it is. You won't believe how much heart it has. And when it's over, you won't believe how much you'll want to see it again. The Book of Mormon, October 28th through 30th, First Interstate Center for the Arts. Tickets at BroadwaySpokane.com.
So if we're going to spend a third of our lives sleeping, shouldn't we try to get the best sleep possible? That's why Denver Mattress is all about that sleep life.
And during the 4-day super sale, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Get a $300 gift when you purchase any Tempur-Pedic, or save up to $200 on our Doctor's Choice lineup. Plus 5 years no interest with no down payment and free shipping right to your door.
Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right mattress.
Ooh, the DQ chicken strip basket? Yes, please. I want in on that. Oh, that house-made Hidden Valley Ranch is for all the dips. Plus fries, Texas toast, and, you guessed it, DQ chicken strips. So good. Let's go right now. Or let's get delivery at DQ.com. DQ, happy tastes good.
Change is just a part of life. As humans, we're wired to handle life's changes, big and small. COVID-19 is one of those changes, and it's sticking around for a while, whether we like it or not. Each new wave requires us to adapt, to adjust, but together, we will. COVID keeps changing, but so can we. Visit takecarewhat.org to learn how.
Around the nation today, the death toll continues to rise following Ian's destructive path through Florida and other states along the eastern coastline. Recovery efforts are underway while concerns grow of river flooding. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
Recovery and rescue efforts continued Saturday with the help of the Coast Guard in Florida following Ian's devastating path in the state and the Carolinas. At least 64 people have died in Florida, and more than 1 million residents in multiple states are without power.
We have already started the planning efforts for what it's going to take to rebuild these communities and recover from this storm.
In Sarasota, cleanup efforts got underway Saturday morning after Ian slammed into the southwest part of the state as a Category 4 hurricane, the deadly storm causing massive damage and flooding.
We have over 1,300 people on the ground for the Florida Department of Transportation. 1,300 miles of roadway have been cleared.
Traffic on I-75 south between Northport and Venice, Florida, jam-packed on Saturday as residents attempt to return home, even though some roads are impassable.
The only store on this side of the river is underwater right over here right now.
This comes after a levee was compromised in Sarasota County, causing greater concern for more flooding in the Hidden River Valley community Saturday.
It's going to boil down to us coming together, working with the different agencies, working with the federal government, and ensuring that the right people get the right services.
Moving up the coast, a similar scene on Myrtle Beach where cleanup began. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster giving an update on the aftermath.
There's some heartbreak, there's work to be done, but all in all, it is a good story, another good story for South Carolina.
Back in Florida, Ian's deadly path could become the most expensive storm in the state's history. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Hurricane Ian absolutely doing some damage on the East Coast. Closer to home here, Matt, though, fortunately not seeing anything quite like that.
No, we are been blessed with beautiful weather. We're blessed with not having to deal with those types of storms. For those who maybe didn't see our segments earlier in the week, I worked in Fort Myers for a couple of years, and so this has been really tough to see, and certainly all our thoughts and prayers of everyone and everybody who's going down to help them. I just personally want to say thank you. All right, so let's talk about some beautiful weather and probably one of the most, I dare say it, boring forecasts I've had in a long time. And let me tell you, that is a good thing. Just wait until we get to the end of the segment here. All right, so right now 66 in Spokane, 61 in Coeur d'Alene. We got into the middle 70s today. We're headed closer to the upper 70s and the 80s as we head later this week. Now, the only thing really holding down our temperatures is that storm that brought us all that rain on Thursday. It's still hanging around out to our southeast, but high pressure's coming in, and it is going to really kind of take over here as we head into tomorrow and especially as we get into Monday. So we've had a little bit of cloud cover trying to push its way back over into North Idaho, and even some rain moving through the Missoula area and trying to cross the state line. But so far, everything is dried out. That's a combination of both drier air, plus when you get that moisture coming over the Bitterroot Mountains and then heading downhill towards us, you get that downslope wind effect. So we should be good to go. We're not going to see any more rain from the system, even though it's basically right next door. It'll continue to spin over Montana as we go through Sunday. This is Monday now on our forecast radar. Things really quiet, but you can definitely tell high pressure's in control because you got a lot of low clouds and gloomy fall weather conditions out on the Pacific coast. Of course, inland for us, we get to enjoy the sunshine instead. And boy, it is going to be a wonderful looking day tomorrow. Don't be like me last weekend. Don't forget the sunscreen. I got like one half of my face that was burned headed out to doing some college football last weekend. So here's how things go. Sunny skies, 70s for the afternoon, 60s by lunchtime. These are more like September temperatures. early September temperatures. East winds, as you may have noticed there, and so that is going to keep our air quality decent. Because it's been so dry, we've only had one day of decent rain this month. We still have those fires. They're still smoldering, all the fires that popped up in August. So we're going to see some fluctuating air quality from time to time, especially if you're watching us from around the Wenatchee area, where we have those fires that are burning a little bit more active in the Cascades. Most of those headed to the west side now. Sunday highs, upper 70s. I really think we're going to end up right around 80 degrees in parts of the valley, especially that corridor downtown Spokane to Liberty Lake. That usually ends up quite toasty in the afternoon. And, well, if we're talking about the West Plains and Coeur d'Alene getting up into the upper 70s, then I think you can bet some neighborhoods there will end up around 80 degrees. Now, as far as our kind of overall temperature forecast, we're going to slowly climb Tuesday into Wednesday. Some minor changes in cloud cover for late in the week and a very minuscule cool down by the time we get to the start of next weekend. So, you know, it may not be the most exciting forecast coming from from this weatherman's perspective, but you know what? This is pretty awesome for this point in the year.
Gotta agree, Matt. Thanks for that. We'll check back with you in just a little bit. Moving along tonight, the Biden administration is reestablishing the President's Committee on the Arts and Humanities. President Biden signed an executive order bringing the Arts Committee back to life after it had been dissolved in 2017 following Charlottesville. Unite the Right rally, white supremacists protested the removal of a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee and clashed with counter-protesters. At that time, Arts Committee members resigned in protest over then-President Trump blaming people on both sides for the protest's deadly violence. Biden's executive order states the reformed committee will include chairs from the National Endowment of Arts and Humanities, among other contributors. The new committee on the arts and humanities will meet at least twice a year to advise the president on issues related to federal support for the arts. The National Archives says that it has identified presidential records still missing from the Trump administration. In a Friday letter to the House Oversight Committee, Archives officials point to records missing from former White House trade advisor Peter Navarro. The DOJ says Navarro used a private email to account for presidential business, including in his work during the pandemic. Records missing include those pertaining to National Guard rapid response teams, ventilators, and the use of hydrochloroquine used to treat COVID-19. The controversy follows the discovery of classified documents that had allegedly been improperly stored at Mar-a-Lago. House Oversight Chair Carolyn Maloney says it is outrageous that these records remain unaccounted 20 months after President Trump left office. The National Archives would not comment on whether it would ask the Justice Department to file criminal charges in this case of missing documents as well. The House of Representatives voted to approve a bill to fund the government through December 16th, averting a midnight shutdown when funding was set to expire. The Senate passed the measure yesterday, and now, with the House's vote Friday, the bill will go to President Joe Biden for his signature. In addition to money to keep government agencies afloat, the short-term funding measure provides around $12 billion for Ukraine. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson made history on the U.S. Supreme Court after being sworn in Friday. Seen here with fellow female justices Amy Coney Barrett, Sonia Sotomayor, and Alina Kagan. Jackson is more than just the first black woman on the High Court. Of the 115 justices in the history of the Supreme Court, 108 have been white men, only 3 have been people of color, and only 5 had been female before Ketanji Brown Jackson was sworn in. And while it may be the most conservative court in years, it also sets the record for the most women on the bench at one time. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter turns 98 years old Saturday. The Carter Center will host a series of virtual events to celebrate his legacy. After George H.W. Bush died in 2018 at 94, Carter became the oldest living U.S. president. He was a peanut farmer and U.S. Navy lieutenant before going into politics. He served one term as governor of Georgia and president of the United States from 1977 to 1981. The former president received the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002 for his efforts to push peace across the globe. Carter beat brain cancer in 2015, but faced a series of health scares in 2019, undergoing surgery to remove pressure on his brain. Carter is celebrating his birthday at home with his family. His wife, Rosalind Carter, celebrated her 95th birthday in August. Still ahead tonight here on 4 News Now, the United States Postal Service is hiring. They hosted a job fair and are hoping to hire more people in Spokane. How many positions are they making available? And how can someone apply for the job? That story coming up. Plus, using the bus, now as easy as downloading an app on your phone. Literally. How can an app make riding the bus that much more convenient? We'll have that story after the break.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
The story of a country line dancer who gave her pain the boot. This is Shelley.
Once I start dancing, I forget where I am.
So what was tripping her up?
Foot pain, knee pain, and back pain.
Then she got fitted for Good Feet arch supports.
It was magical. I knew, oh my gosh, this is what I need to stay on the dance floor.
And stay there, Shelley does.
That's my happy place. I'm not going to stop.
Step in for your free fitting at the Good Feet store.
4 News Now and STCU are recognizing volunteers who make a difference in our community. Today we honor Holly Schamberger.
With a love for literacy, Holly has organized book sales, revitalized programs, and recruited volunteers at the Loon Lake Library.
I have a love for the library, and I have a love for this community, and I have a love for my volunteers.
Holly is the president of Friends of the Loon Lake Library. She brings energy, spirit, and passion for literacy to her small community. Thanks to STCU for helping to make sure volunteers count.
Flowers are fighters. That's why the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's is full of them. Because flowers find a way to break through. Just like we will. Join the fight at alz.org/walk.
My son's name was Carson. He was just the light of my life. His anxiety and his inability to sleep caused him to purchase a pill from Snapchat, and we know that it's what killed him. Congresswoman McMorris Rodgers is bringing awareness to this. She personally reached out to me. She took the time to hear Carson's story. She has been driven in trying to prevent further loss.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rodgers, and I approve this message.
This season, fall into Coeur d'Alene. Fall is a great time to visit Coeur d'Alene. With awesome weather, fall color cruises, exciting events, a variety of food, beer, and wine selections, and amazing accommodations. It's the perfect time to stay and play in CDA. Visit cdafall.com for more information.
4 News Now is brought to you by Culligan Water.
Welcome back. The United States Postal Service is headed into its peak season and it needs more people. The USPS is looking to hire thousands of people to fill positions all across Washington. Like many industries, it's facing staffing shortages because of the pandemic. It's trying to rebound by holding several hiring events around the state to recruit people. The Postal Service is calling it a mega blitz hiring event, and its goal is to fill 2,000 positions across Washington. The Postal Service hosted hiring fairs on the western side of the state Thursday. Yesterday, recruiters made their way to eastern Washington, speaking with potential candidates at the Shadle Post Office. In Spokane, the service is hoping to fill over 50 positions for both delivery and inside the office.
It's fed my family and raised my kids, and I think it's a public service job. So carriers are our lifeline out in the field with customers. It's oftentimes they're the ones who find customers that might be in trouble or something.
To work for the Postal Service, you have to be 18 or 16 with a diploma. USPS also requires a clean driving record for delivery positions. To learn how to apply for the Postal Service, visit our website at kxly.com. Well, today you were able to use your phone to pay to get on the bus using the new connected fare system. Here's how it works. You create an account on the STA Connect app. There you will have access to eConnect cards that you can load up with money using a credit or debit card. STA is also expanding its reduced and zero fare options. Anyone 60 or older or people with disabilities get a 50% discount. Experts are once again sounding the alarm as they're finding more creative ways to gain access to your bank account. ABC's Will Reeves spoke to one man who was convicted by scams to give them access.
It happened so quickly.
Marcus Miles says his bank account was drained after he got a text message that seemed to be from his real bank, Capital One.
I was caught off guard, but I might as well have just walked out my front door and given all of my money to the first person that I saw.
The text reading, "Did you attempt a $500 Zelle transfer?" Zelle is a mobile payment transfer service embedded in your banking app that allows you to send money to people directly between bank accounts. But Miles said he hadn't sent any money, so he was eager to talk to who he thought was his bank.
I was convinced because he kept saying, looks like someone is accessing from an IP address in Texas. Looking back, 16 minutes worth of manipulation, and boy, was he good.
He then received a text to confirm his username and login.
Because I was getting a text, I actually was sending it back.
Moments later, his account empty. His story one of many from across the country.
Who the heck would have all that information?
Demi Woods, speaking to our station WLS in Chicago, lost $3,500. Our San Francisco 7 on Your Side unit hearing from dozens of consumers. Lawmakers are now working to make these money transfers safer.
Congress is considering a draft proposal to ensure that consumers who get induced into scams have protection and get their money replenished by the banking industry or whatever platform they've used.
Zelle is out with its own TikTok, reminding customers that their banks will never call for personal info because they already have it. And if the caller says it's urgent, question it.
Capital One has confirmed to ABC that they are crediting Marcus for the unauthorized transaction, and Zelle had these tips for protecting yourself from scams. Avoid sharing personal details online. If you receive a text or call from someone claiming to be your financial institution, hang up and call the institution back. 4 News will be right back after the break.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Watch me. Watch me grapple, move, and pin. When I hit the mat, don't underestimate the grin. I've got state championships and medals to show, but it's about more than just winning. This you should know. Overcoming odds through therapy and care. The road was long. Now opponents beware. Watch me. Game-changing sports medicine at Shriners Children's. The most amazing care anywhere.
It's time to get your best night's sleep and save big on Tempur-Pedic. Now at Sleep More, inside more furniture.
Get fitted for your perfect night's sleep with the very best in high-end mattresses.
Take home your Tempur-Pedic mattress for as little as $33 a month.
Pay no money down and get interest-free financing for 60 months. And you'll also get a $300 more furniture gift card.
Get the rest you deserve without losing any sleep over the price for only $33 a month.
Your best night's sleep is within reach at Sleep More, inside more furniture.
Change is just a part of life. As humans, we're wired to handle life's changes, big and small. COVID-19 is one of those changes, and it's sticking around for a while, whether we like it or not. Each new wave requires us to adapt, to adjust, but together, we will. COVID keeps changing, but so can we. Visit takecarewa.org to learn how.
The Inland Empire 6. 6 local Honda dealerships dedicated to putting your Keister in a Honda. And your Keister will thank you for it because it'll be riding in comfort, style, and America's most fuel-efficient full-line automaker. And that can save your Keister at the gas pumps. Not to mention every Honda is packed with high-tech safety features that keep all your little Keisters safe and happy. See your local Honda dealer today. Honda gets the Inland Northwest.
The Book of Mormon is the best musical of this century. The 9-time Tony Award winner is genius, brilliant, phenomenal. The Book of Mormon is the funniest musical of all time. It's the gold standard for comedy that goes further than any other comedy in history. You won't believe how funny it is. You won't believe how much heart it has. And when it's over, you won't believe how much you'll want to see it again. The Book of Mormon, October 28th through 30th, First Interstate Center for the Arts. Tickets at BroadwaySpokane.com.
4 News Now is brought to you by Wendell Motors.
In California, a runaway rodeo bull injured a woman, but ultimately saved her life. A CT scan meant to diagnose those injuries revealed something more sinister. Sade Brown has the story.
summer during the Reading Rodeo, a bull got loose from the arena, jumping into the stands.
I was sitting right in that corner seat right over there.
It struck and injured 6 people, one of them 25-year-old Paige King, sending her to the hospital.
I mean, I went down and I just didn't really know what was going on exactly. It kind of took me a second, and then my boyfriend had picked me up and I was like, oh, there's a bull there.
The ordeal frightening Paige's family, including her father. Because the bull had jumped the fence, and thankfully the bull just exited right there out of the gate. But in a miraculous turn of events, treatment of her injuries revealed Paige had an underlying health crisis lingering inside her. We want her to go up to the emergency room, and through that they did a CT scan of her, and secondary to any internal injuries, they noticed a lump on her neck, and the emergency room doctor said, you have to get that checked out. It would be discovered that Paige was in the early stages of thyroid cancer. I was stunned, actually, in all honesty, as one of your kids finding out that they may have cancer. It kind of takes you back and gives you chills. After the cancer came to light, an American rodeo announcer heard her story. Pro Rodeo Hall of Famer Bob Tallman told the family if it's cancer, send her to a treatment facility in Texas where she can get specialized care. A couple weeks ago, we gave Bob a call on a Saturday, and he said, here, call this doctor right now. They're in Houston, Texas, and they will take care of you. We explained the situation, and she said, you need to come down here. There's a cancer center in Houston called MD Anderson Cancer Center. It's the best in the nation, and said, this is where you need to get treatment. After the ordeal, Paige, a house cleaner, was on her way to a client's home, and that home had bulls on their land.
I was driving and I looked to my left, and all of a sudden I see this bull and he looks identical to him. And I look at my coworker and I'm like, there's no way.
Yes way. That was the bull. Paige captured the incredible moment on camera of that animal that ultimately saved her life.
It was a full circle moment in my life, and yeah, I'll cherish it forever.
Sade Brown, the North States News.
A crazy story. Meantime, you may have seen this story on your Facebook page. A member of Washington State University's men's basketball team has been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Freshman guard Miles Rice released a statement saying, in part, I will beat this heinous disease and will use my success to be a positive inspiration and uplifting testimony for others. A GoFundMe has been set up for Miles to support him and his family. You can find it in this story on KXLY.com. Well, the NBA returns to Seattle Monday, at least for a preseason game. The Los Angeles Clippers will be taking on the Portland Trail Blazers at Climate Pledge Arena. Former NBA player and Seattle native Jamal Crawford believes there's value even in hosting a preseason game, saying it reignites a whole new generation of kids who need to see this. They need to be able to dream and to know that it's real. This is the first NBA matchup in Seattle since 2018 when Golden State and Sacramento played a preseason game in front of a sold-out Seattle crowd. Well, coming up on 4 News Now, a major drug bust out of Sandpoint, what the police found next. Plus fences going up around Camp Hope, what that looks like for Spokane and its community coming up on Nighttime.
And we are getting set for some very pleasant late evening temperatures coming up. I'll show you how long these nice weather conditions are expected to stick around and more coming up in your First Alert forecast.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Hold on, I'm coming. You didn't tell me you were getting McDonald's.
There's a deal for every morning. Buy one of your favorite breakfast menu items and get another for $1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Dear night owls, when darkness falls, our stunning style takes flight as we soar over city streets. And our fuel economy is ever so wise. This ride's a hoot. Trust us, Toyota sedans.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is a first responder, and same here. But did you know that these are first responders too? I just got hit! The towing industry is 15 times deadlier than all other private industries combined.
See that?
You can change that by following the simple rule, slow down, move over.
It's the safe thing to do.
And
It's the law.
make our freeways safer.
Slow down, move over.
We have a friend right now in one of the hospice houses. He said, the people are so happy here. And he said, I feel safe.
We get to be with people at a very sacred moment.
The mission of Hospice of Spokane is to help people live as fully as they can during those dying days and weeks.
To serve with a mission and learn how you can join the Hospice of Spokane team, visit hospiceofspokane.org.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to financial compensation. If you or a loved one used Roundup weed killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call the number on your screen now.
Call 1-800-339-3149.
There's iced coffee, then there's smooth, sweet McCafe iced coffee. Then, after one sip, there's bliss.
Pumpkin Spice Iced Coffee is back. Get this and other flavors medium-sized for just $2. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now, Special Edition.
President Joe Biden's administration is scaling back eligibility for its student loan forgiveness plan. Around 770,000 people will be affected by the change, according to one administration official. The debate over the program remains fierce as Republicans ramp up legal efforts to stop it from taking effect. Emily Schmidt explains who no longer qualifies.
It did not resonate, like how much the payments would be once I graduated.
Brittany Williams is a doctoral student with $80,000 in debt. She's one of thousands waiting for President Joe Biden's administration to roll out the first wave of student loan forgiveness next month.
There's more work to be done.
But instead of doing more, the administration is actually scaling back eligibility. Borrowers whose federal student loans are guaranteed by the government but held by private lenders will no longer qualify.
Good morning.
The scale back announced the same day 6 Republican-led states sued President Joe Biden in an effort to block the ban.
In reality, the president's actions violate the law and are beyond his authority.
The White House continues to argue that its student loan forgiveness plan is legal prior to the changes. The Congressional Budget Office released a very rough estimate stating Biden's plan could cost the government $400 billion.
Our nation's finances are less secure because of the student loan bailout.
For Williams, debt forgiveness presents a chance to put money back in the economy.
We're postponing marriages. We're postponing, having children. We're postponing owning our own homes because the weight of the student loan debt is just so much.
I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
Well, Matt, we've been starting to see a sunny start to the fall season. Now that it's officially October, what can we expect?
Well, more of the same, at least for now, and certainly might be waiting a little bit longer for some of those pretty fall colors, just because it is so warm. And hey, trees soaking up that sunshine, even though we're losing quite a bit of daylight here at this point in the year. So we'll turn eventually, but so far, as you've probably seen outside, not a lot of trees have been doing a whole lot of changing lately. Temperatures now 60 in Spokane, 50s in Coeur d'Alene, 60s as you head further to the west, places like Grand Coulee and Moses Lake. So it is a mild night, at least so far. We'll pretty much all drop down into the 50s as we get into the earlier hours of the morning. Still definitely on the mild side for early October. We'll see some spots get into the 40s. Places like Colville, you'll be down to about 41. 40s very briefly for Spokane. Low 40s in St. Mary's, mid 40s in Pullman, 50s in the Silver Valley. You head out the door in the morning, you might need a jacket, but you won't for very long. We'll be quickly shooting up with temperatures as we head to 8 a.m. and beyond, and we'll be back to summer shorts weather again by the afternoon. This is a long-term pattern. I'll show you when we think it could flip back over to more fall-like conditions coming up.
All right, Matt, thank you. 2 people are now facing charges after police in Sandpoint say they seized what they believe is fentanyl, heroin, and other dangerous drugs this week in a series of search warrants. Police say this raid was in response to a couple of fentanyl overdoses in northern Idaho involving a teen who recovered and a 21-year-old who died. This is a look at what some of the police took off the streets. You're looking at what are known as blues, or sometimes referred to as Skittles. Both are suspected of being forms of fentanyl. The pills commonly have the letter M stamped onto one side of them, and the other side has a 30. Daryl David of Bonners Ferry and Rachel Straley of Spokane were both arrested, cited, and released for meth and drug possession. Sandpoint police say more charges are likely after they get the lab results back on those pills to confirm they are fentanyl. Police say they joined DEA agents in tracking that pair down at a motel and searching a separate home this week to find that suspected fentanyl, as well as heroin, meth, and other drug paraphernalia. Well, there's now a fence around the perimeter of Camp Hope signaling changes could be ahead. One of those changes, a possible curfew. In preparation, WSDOT, Jules Helping Hands, and people at Camp Hope have been cleaning up extra trash and rearranging RVs around the camp's perimeter. The goal is from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. No one will be able to go in or out of the camp. Security with Jules Helping Hands will be at the 3 entry points of the camp to enforce this curfew. If people living in the camp don't follow these rules, they will be asked to leave. WSDOT contractors were on site putting up the fence Friday morning. This fence is just part of the development of part of the Department of Transportation's next steps to keep Camp Hope from growing and to improve security for both Camp Hope residents and neighbors.
We're going to work with them as much as they can. They all understand the rules that are coming along with this, which is also a good neighbor agreement. But if they choose to leave, we'll make sure that we find them a safe place to go, and we'll still follow them with services.
WSDOT says they are actively working on a timeline to remove RVs, implement a badging program, and increase security in the camp and the neighborhood. Coming up, we give you a preview of the Fall Festival at Walter's Fruit Ranch.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
Change is just a part of life. As humans, we're wired to handle life's changes, big and small. COVID-19 is one of those changes, and it's sticking around for a while, whether we like it or not. Each new wave requires us to adapt, to adjust, but together, we will. COVID keeps changing, but so can we. Visit takecarewa.org to learn how.
These doors are closed because it's too dangerous to ask employees to work here anymore. Think about that. For decades, Patty Murray has spearheaded reckless policies that lead to shortages, inflation, and so much crime that you can't even get a cup of coffee from the hometown shop on Capitol Hill, even if you could still afford it. 30 years in the Senate, and this is what she has to show for it? If she won't do the job, I will. I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
Looking for high quality and low prices? Then Furniture Row's 4-day super sale is for you. That's 4 days, where the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend, no limit.
You'll also find huge savings on living, dining, bedroom, and much, much more.
Plus, make your cash go further with 5 years no interest financing and no down payment. But don't wait. The 4-day super sale at Furniture Row ends Monday.
Ooh, the DQ chicken strip basket? Yes, please. I want in on that. Oh, that house-made Hidden Valley Ranch is for all the dips. Plus fries, Texas toast, and, you guessed it, DQ chicken strips. Mmm, so good. Let's go, right now. Or let's get delivery at DQ.com. DQ, happy tastes good.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
The 4 News Now Extreme Team is brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
Green Bluff farms are busting at the seams with fall fruit ready to be picked. Farmers say this is a great time to see what they've harvested and kick off fall fun. Every weekend in October, Walter's Fruit Ranch is celebrating their Harvest Fall Festival. You can come pick your own apples, pumpkins, and sunflowers. Kids can stop by, pet the sheep, or get lost in the free corn maze.
That rain we had this spring, it's the densest corn maze I've ever seen. It's going to be hard to find your way out.
Jason Morrell says you can guarantee your spot by buying a parking pass online since Green Bluff is so popular in the fall. Head on over to KXLY.com to see all the details on Walter's Fall Festival.
And all the crops are blooming later as well because of the cool weather that we had in the spring. So we got a little bit of an extended kind of late summer, early fall, that in-between season. We're certainly seeing it with our temperatures as we'll go over the next several days. So tomorrow, 77 degrees, sunny. Nobody complains about weather, sunny in the 70s, right? Definitely going to be a complaint-free Sunday, that's for sure. Little east-northeast winds, that'll bring a little tinge of fall into the air. It's always good when we have a north wind that brings down things a little bit cooler, makes it feel nice outside. Now, we're going to continue to see our temperatures slowly creep up towards 80 degrees, and I expect temperatures to be pretty much everyone around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene to be at least around 80 degrees by the time we get to Tuesday. There'll be some spots that hit that before then, and we'll continue that on through Wednesday. Now, our average high at this point in the year, that's this white line down here you can see on your screen. We're talking about 67, 68 degrees. That's our usual high here for the first couple of days of October. So we are well above. We showed you the 7-day forecast if you were with us in our first half hour, and it is pretty quiet and pretty warm. So let's go ahead. Let's skip forward to October 7th and later. Very high odds for this warm pattern to continue. And let's head even further. Let's get all the way to the middle of the month. Climate Prediction Center graphics they go all the way out to October 15th, and we continue to see pretty high odds for the Northwest to be basking in the sun and the late summer rather than mid-fall temperatures. So we're going to be with this for a while, and that means we'll continue to see those smoldering fires, especially those in the Cascades that still aren't out yet. They'll continue to produce a little bit of smoke. Unfortunately, there's been some air quality issues on the west side. Those east winds helping us out, but we have seen fluctuating air quality in places like Sandpoint, Bonners Ferry, Coeur d'Alene, and St. Mary's. So it may be a little hazy from time to time, and that's something we're likely going to continue to see as we head throughout the entire week, or perhaps even the next 10, 12 days or so, until we can get a wet pattern established once again. In the meantime, it is really a great opportunity to, maybe you had a hike you wanted to do this summer that you missed out on, all those things that maybe you didn't have time to do this summer. You got our chance over the next several days. Dry, stable conditions, they're going to be here, as I just showed you, for a while. And a really nice looking day tomorrow. 50s by 8 o'clock, upper 60s by lunch, upper 70s, and those few spots hitting close to 80 degrees around the metro by the time we hit to about 4 o'clock or so. We are going to see areas well up into the 80s as you head further west. 84 for Omak and Grand Coulee, 80s in Moses Lake, 80s in the LC Valley as well. Pretty much everybody else going to hang out in the upper 70s, at least for Sunday. There's that kind of slow rise with partly cloudy skies late in the week that'll help drop our high temperatures some. Low temperatures not going to change all that much. Upper 40s, low 50s. Very pleasant and benign weather in the week ahead.
Well, the first full week of fall is coming to an end, and over the next few weeks, the inland Northwest will be filled with beautiful fall colors. Tonight, we are heading east to give you a preview of what you can expect to see when those leaves begin to change. Let's go for a ride in the Air 4 drone over Coeur d'Alene.
As an artist specifically, color is what motivates me. Color is what brings me life and joy. Watching all of the colors change, especially around Coeur d'Alene and around the lake, is just amazing. And here you get like the bright orange and yellows, and then you'll see that reflected in the lake. So we just have so many amazing scenes around here that get you excited for fall. My favorite spot is the Centennial Trail leading out to Higgins Point around the lake. You get those big leafy trees, and right now they're bright yellow and bright orange. I am a painter, and my paintings are all about celebrating the Pacific Northwest. So I love the Pacific Northwest, born and raised. It brings me so much joy to be able to try to capture some of that on canvas. So I paint a lot of local scenes. As an artist, I'm just very inspired by color, and I'm inspired by the beauty around us, the mountains, the trees, the rivers and lakes. So that's what most of my paintings focus on. My students here at the Kroc Center, I always ask them, what's your favorite thing about fall? And all of them said the changing of the leaves and jumping in the leaves, and yeah, it's kind of bringing joy to everybody. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I love Coeur d'Alene. I love the whole Pacific Northwest. We're so blessed here.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Hold on, I'm coming. You didn't tell me you were getting McDonald's.
There's a deal for every morning. Buy one of your favorite breakfast menu items and get another for $1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Celebrate spooky season with all things Svengoolie. It's MeTV's Svengoolie Halloween Bonanza all month long, featuring special programming and more.
Boo. Svengoolie's Bonanza, all October long on MeTV 4.2.
Our very best savings have been extended during the Labor Day sale at More Furniture.
Everyone knows More is synonymous with incredible style at the best values. But our Labor Day sale offers a special opportunity to save big, and we're extending the sale for an additional week.
Our latest collections have arrived, and they're all on sale.
Our best sellers are in stock, and they're all on sale.
It's the best time of year to save and get your home ready for fall entertaining.
Check out morefurniture.com to view all extended sales specials.
The Book of Mormon is the best musical of this century. The 9-time Tony Award winner is genius, brilliant, phenomenal. The Book of Mormon is the funniest musical of all time. It's the gold standard for comedy that goes further than any other comedy in history. You won't believe how funny it is. You won't believe how much heart it has. And when it's over, you won't believe how much you'll want to see it again. The Book of Mormon, October 28th through 30th, First Interstate Center for the Arts. Tickets at BroadwaySpokane.com.
At Providence, we've been investing in the health of the community and raising the standard of care for over 160 years. And we are honored to bring you top-rated Medicare Advantage coverage. Providence plans start at just $0, include dental, hearing, and vision, and connect you to a network of thousands of local providers. Providence. Join us as we make communities stronger by building true health together.
There's iced coffee, then there's smooth, sweet McCafe iced coffee. Then, after one sip, there's bliss.
Pumpkin Spice Iced Coffee is back. Get this and other flavors medium-sized for just $2. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The 4 News Now Extreme Team is brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
For at least the first half, it looked like Washington State and Cal were headed for another strange, low-scoring affair. But at the start of the third quarter, that's when the Cougar offense really got rolling and eventually pulled away from the Golden Bears. On the other side of the ball, it was a much better outing for the defense as they cut their yards given up in half from last week, and they were able to get to the quarterback 4 times after not being able to do so against Oregon.
And I think this was a cultivation of us just doing our best stuff, not letting the offensive tackles dictate what we do, but dictating how they're going to stop us. So, everyone out there was really flying around. Quinn had a great play. I wish I could remember everyone who got one because, in the heat of the moment, you kind of don't see it. But it was awesome just seeing all those guys really eat out there. And, I think we definitely left a mark on them.
I think we learned a lot about ourselves going through a little adversity, and I think it was a positive thing, right? So to come back the next week and to go out there and score, to go out there and close the game, to go out there and finish, just shows the type of team that I think we can be. We're not there. We haven't played a perfect game yet, and it's probably not out there, but there's a lot left for this team, and it's very hungry.
And I feel like we didn't stretch the field enough, the previous games. I feel like Coach Morris, he had great play calling the entire game, getting our playmakers in space in one-on-one matchups. So we were able to, exploit those matchups. The plays that Strip had in the screen game, the scramble drill Farrell had. So, just having little plays like that, we need more explosive plays, especially in the run game, in my opinion. I feel like that would get us going a little bit more.
After being home 4 times in the first 5 weeks, the Cougs will now head out on the road and face the number 6 ranked USC Trojans next Saturday afternoon, and this will be the final home game for them in about a month. Reporting in Pullman tonight, I'm Alex Crescenti, 4 News Now Sports.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Hold on, I'm coming. You didn't tell me you were getting McDonald's.
There's a deal for every morning. Buy one of your favorite breakfast menu items and get another for $1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
So if we're going to spend a third of our lives sleeping, shouldn't we try to get the best sleep possible? That's why Denver Mattress is all about that sleep life.
And during the 4-day super sale, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Get a $300 gift when you purchase any Tempur-Pedic, or save up to $200 on our Doctor's Choice lineup. Plus 5 years no interest with no down payment and free shipping right to your door.
Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right mattress.
Change is just a part of life. As humans, we're wired to handle life's changes, big and small. COVID-19 is one of those changes, and it's sticking around for a while, whether we like it or not. Each new wave requires us to adapt, to adjust, but together, we will. COVID keeps changing, but so can we. Visit takecarewhat.org to learn how.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
So why use Toyota Service Centers?
Well, you wouldn't use just any carpenter, would you?
This thing working?
No.
Keep your Toyota a Toyota. The maintenance you need, the prices you want. Dare to compare our service with the rest. Stop by your local Toyota dealership or visit Toyota.com to learn more. Toyota, let's go places.
There's iced coffee, then there's smooth, sweet McCafe iced coffee. Then, after one sip, there's bliss.
Pumpkin Spice Iced Coffee is back. Get this and other flavors medium-sized for just $2. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Get out a round deck chair and sit on the beach and put on some sunscreen because it looks like kind of late summer out there, at least for the 7-day forecast. Hey, you know, we don't get this type of weather every fall season, so let's enjoy it.
No complaints here. Hey, before we go, the month of October is National Pet Wellness Month. We have details on how to keep your pets healthy all year long. Dogs and cats age 5 to 7 times faster than people, so that means annual visits to the veterinarian is like seeing a doctor every 5 to 7 years. So it's important for dogs and cats to get those wellness exams at least once a year. That's going to do it from us tonight. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.